Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the General Banter Patreon exclusive podcast. I'm here with my wife. Handshakes. We've got no headphones on today, so this seems very weird to do it without headphones. It seems like an actual just chat.
Just talking to each other. Oh, weird.
You won't have seen it, but we did have. we'll play the intro over it, but we did have an argument there for 30 seconds over who was slurping the loudest.
Well, yeah, I know. You don't like any noise of any food or drink, so anything would annoy you.
I think so. But I was listening to it very up close. Our podcast is sponsored by Alpha Brain today. My last Patreon podcast, which was audio only, was sponsored by Alpha Brain.
It's not really sponsored by
Alpha Brain. Don't know that, but it's sponsored by Alpha Brain.
Is it working?
What it should be called, what they should give it out for, is if you're like constipated. Because I mentioned this on the other podcast. My mind still blurry, cloudy. What's the word? Foggy.
Yeah.
What's the word? Foggy. What's the word when you can't think right? Foggy brain. And but the asshole very active.
Hold on.
You read the back.
Did you buy ass pills? Life ones?
Let me see. Oh,
did you buy these are suppositories?
Alpha shitter. Alpha dirt box. But it's all natural.
You say everything makes you shit, so I don't believe that as a symptom.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it is. Everything is like, oh my god, that made me shit so many times. That's just a standard. Like, I swear to God, if I hear one more comedian, just everything is them making them shit.
Well, they're all very unhealthy men. I don't really no. The way like they're talking about shitting isn't the way I'm talking about shitting.
It is.
It's not.
Yeah, it is.
It's not at all. No, I shit regularly.
Yeah.
But these boys shit in an emergency 7 times a day.
But you're blaming this on making you shit.
No, but there was a very obvious shift in activity.
Are we talking quantity here, or some sort of consistency?
We're talking frequency and potency.
Oh, Colin. This should not be the start of this podcast. No one wants to hear this.
It absolutely should. This is what people are here for. And this time
this is the real review.
We're on video. We're shooting in the house. I feel like
hopefully is it working?
Yes, it's working this time. The reason it cut out last time is because
you're shitting.
I was shitting. I couldn't see for the fucking toxic farts. But I was what did I say to you yesterday? You were like, do you want another coffee? And I said, Mairin, I have to take a piss with a spoon.
Yeah, that was very funny because you had taken so many coffees.
But yeah, at that point it was like, I'm gonna have to scoop this out of my pisser with a spoon.
So horrific, just like a jar of honey. That's horrible.
Twisting this like a jar of honey. Like
what's wrong with you that supplements make you more unhealthy?
But this is the thing. It is, how do they describe it? Daily cognitive support. It's basically like natural ingredients that are supposed to be beneficial for your mind process tank. But if you read the back of it, it's all fucking maltodextrin, vegetarian. It's all vegetarian fucking extracts of mushrooms and everything. I'm basically just eating compost, and it's coming out in my dirt box, like fucking mashed up shredded weights.
Yeah, it could be irritating your gut slightly to get used to it. Maybe.
Irritate my guts. You irritate my guts sometimes.
Probably, yeah. I don't know if they're kind of like a, what do you call it?
Fucking load of snake oil. What's in it? Snake oil and bullshit.
Trash, basically.
Anyway, on it.com.
I don't know if it's. I just mean
use the
like
code
a bacteria thing.
Use the code Geddis. Geddis India. I put up a little thing on the internet. Can I read you out some of these? I put up a thing on the internet saying I'm going to announce a big tour soon. What should I call the tour?
Which you already have an idea what you're going to call it, but you're just.
I think. How do I get in there again? 1 second. Let me see. Just let me go to the actual.
Why do you think this is going to be a fun, interactive experience?
Sometimes I was like, maybe these guys will do the work for me.
Yeah, maybe someone will have a really good name.
But yeah, I don't know how that bit of fun turned into just people slagging me. So I'll read out some of these. Daddy beans. Did you write that?
I was joking because you call them Eddie beans.
Don't give away our nighttime sex words.
Like sex words. Oh no.
Come see my new band at the Limelight, the nighttime sex words.
Hey.
Irritate my guts. Alpha brain in my colon. It's tours as in tours, not tours as in tours. What? This one, the one where I get cancelled. When do you think I'm getting cancelled?
Just call it cancelled, the cancelled tour, and then people are going to think it's cancelled.
Nigel cancel?
No, turn up.
Get of the hater. Give me two of those Nelfa brains. Get ahead of the haters and call it Yes, I've Said the N-word tour.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Here's a job for you guys. Go into my back catalogue and see if you can find where I dropped the M word on a podcast. It definitely
Definitely has happened. Like,
definitely, no one cares enough about me to. Pete says, just call it "Give me your fucking money, cunts."
it's a good name.
Godzilla Nation. That's too cool, actually. Crash Bang Wallop, what a tour. Which is
I love it.
Which is a Partridge reference.
Love it.
Come and get some.
Yeah, are you gonna be that guy who just uses like your name as the pun for every single tour for the rest of your life?
I should, like fucking Joe Slice It. Joe Lice It.
I enjoy Joe Lice It, to be fair. His are really good.
I could do a million of them.
That's the way. Joe Lice It.
Get us
Brilliant.
out of here. Gordo at Conspiracy Guy says comorbidities.
Oh.
Anne Blair, shout out, Big Her.
Big Her tour.
Yeah, but it's called.
I love it.
But it's called the Giant Tour, so it's gonna sound like I'm saying Giant Tour.
Oh my god, yes. Did you say that's what you're calling it though? Yeah.
Not announced that yet. This is it. A Patreon
Okay.
exclusive.
You're gonna call it Giant, so it's gonna call Giant Tour. Giant Her.
Yeah, sort
Love
of. The Giant Tour.
The Giant Her.
Best tour of all time. The Big Massive Wee Tour. Nave says Porridge.
Just call it Porridge Tour.
Just call it Porridge.
Yeah, I like it.
Get us going on tour. Some of these are.
I am going on tour.
Yeah, comedian goes around the country telling jokes. Call it that. It'll fit on a poster, no bother. Colin Baton Rouge.
Instead of calling.
Oh,
Baton
call.
Rouge.
That's. Oh, I thought. Oh, that's the name.
Calling Baton Rouge.
Is that the name of the full song? Tour of everywhere apart from Ballymena. Ketamine.
Ooh.
Oh, damn, girl.
Ooh.
How many of these are there? There's a few, but some. I'll aim for the funny ones. Coachella. That's funny.
That is good.
Uncancelable. Well, I feel like you're tempting fate with that. Let me see. On the road again. Getting about.
It is the kind of surname that you can.
This year's dick jokes. Volume 12. That'd be so funny.
Now that's what I call just every year.
Now that's what I call banter. Someone's done it. Big tour, get her booked. General tour. Someone goes, it should be called No Video. Oh, that's cuts me to the core. At least with video today.
Meow.
Thank fuck. Please keep recording for the love of Jesus.
No video.
I stiffed the Dead On Mafia after saying I wouldn't. Man, Sean.
What does that mean?
I don't know. I'd like him to explain himself.
Have we stiffed it?
I think this is the same guy who had problems with me putting in tiers.
Oh.
Even if you are still on the first pound tier.
I mean, maybe we
you still
haven't
get
maybe
extra
put.
podcasts.
Maybe haven't chatted much Dead on Mafia stuff for a while, but to be honest, it's probably just all the shite that happened in our life. We kind of just. I take a back seat from the old military. And then we're back in.
I don't play the card a lot. You know.
What?
Things have been tough.
Things have been tough.
You know, I don't play the card a lot.
We've had them things going on.
I could be sitting here crying. Call it I'm Jamie Lee and I'm getting blocked in it. Yeah! Big tour. Get us out of here. I like get us out of here. Still unbelievable. Big tour. Porridge is shite. Get us to the Greek. Something in my eye. Just quick skim of these. Fuck, that's a cloister.
Yes.
Which is a callback. Armageddis. That's brilliant.
That is good. That's really good.
Shit. Armageddis.
Right, write that one down. That's next year.
That's by far the best one. Do you know what my other name was that I was going to call it a while ago? Both Barrels.
That's not as good.
I know.
It's not as good as that one.
Big dude, better nudes. Insert name here. Done giving a fuck. All dick no cum. Geddis shadow band. Calling Geddis. Asking. I asked politely. Post not clarity. Mere usings listen. Get us to the Great. Get us out of lockdown. The Who of a tour. Welcome to Milkers. Would you fuck up too? Calling you out.
A tour called Would You Fuck Up Too would be great because you're already sharing with the audience.
Can't get us general banter.
Banter.
Did you just
that's something from Edinburgh.
banter? General banter. Did you just assume my blender? We did have Trans Blender at one point.
Yeah, Trans Blender.
What a great podcast this is so far. Just me running through names. Here's me. Turry McTurface. When they did the boat face thing. There's so many of these. I thought there was only like 10.
We both have vastly underestimated how many
Colin
people
Geddis is above average size tour. T's and C's apply. The big tour I organised. The big tour does exactly what it says on the tin. Get or bucked. And Gedflix. So that's
like it.
That's about the length of it there. So there we are.
Armageddis is a great one.
Armageddis. Fuck. So yeah, that's it. We're planning a big tour. I am gonna put out some.
You're planning a giant tour called Giant.
And it's slightly different. It's off the beaten track a little bit.
It is.
It's not really off the beaten track. It's like I know all these sort of provincial. Is that the word?
Yeah.
Art centres. No one goes to them. Do you know? So I'm trying to find venues.
But they're quite good rooms and stuff. Like.
Yeah. What?
Like a lot of them are really cool, big rooms and stuff. But
these venues that I'm doing. Yeah. We're just trying to go. I'm trying to go and do, like, a lot of them are hotel function rooms because it's sometimes that's like the hub of a city.
Yeah.
You know, it's like the biggest place where you would go see anything in not a city, in some of these small towns.
You've done enough touring around different places now that you kind of know what the main ones are, and you know which ones are the big name that you go to in XYZ town, and it's actually not that great. But if you went to this venue in that town, it's actually quite cool and people actually like it.
Armagh,
so you've got enough examples.
Armagh was an eye opener.
Yeah, that was definitely an eye opener.
Because everyone got COVID and my eyes were open. No, it was just like, you know, you can go to these weird stuffy theatres that have like part-time staff and it's not a good night out. You're just going to this stale room to watch someone. Or you go to like the Armagh City Hotel, which was a big function room, and you make the gig in there.
Yeah.
You set the gig up that you want in there with the lights and the setup and the fucking PA and all that shit.
When you think about it,
and
we've always kind of preferred that. Like
totally.
setting up our own gig. Like we would rather like a big room and go, we have to bring everything in ourselves. Where some people like to go to the thing that's already set up because there's zero work in it and you just arrive and it's the staff, as you say. A lot of times these are council run, arts run things. But as you said, the people don't give a shit. It's their job. They don't care who you are. They've not booked you. They don't care. So you just turn up and it's normally crap. Whereas we quite like it's just a big empty room. It's not set up for comedy or anything, and it's like, all right, well, we can get all the things. We can get the PAs and
you have
the
to
people
introduce yourself to people who don't work there normally. They don't give a shit.
We should go other places and they're like, oh, brilliant, something different to have in our big venue. It's great.
Like you walk in and go, hi, I'm on tonight, and they go, let me get someone that gives a fuck.
Yeah, like Ulster Hall. Oh my god, how bad was that? They wouldn't even give me water because I don't think they even cared who we were, and like. I was just like, can I get a water? Like, oh, the bar's not open yet. And I was like, yeah, okay. Is there anywhere I can just get water? And they're like,
and we'll never get over it.
So I had to go to the shop. No, they were going to, and then they opened it and they charged me something like £3 for a bottle of water. I'm like, this is insane. This is absolutely mental.
It is like.
You wouldn't be working tonight if people didn't buy tickets to this show. And
Mairin had a meltdown. She was like, you wouldn't even fucking have 2 pennies to rub together if it wasn't for me.
No, but it just like, it was just very strange.
You spat in a woman's face. You spat in a woman's face.
No, I'm not that good at spitting, to be honest. You could have been
like, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Daddy beans.
Why is that such a thing? You know, like in like a risque thing in movies, and all like, yeah, does she spit or swallow?
Does anyone care?
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
if you've nutted in her mouth,
do you care?
It's out of my hands.
It's literally out of everyone's hands.
You know, if you've bustied the nut already, you just be like, here, spit it out, keep it, swallow it.
Where did that come from? Was this a thing where, well, I know it came from, but like, was this a thing where it was like better if someone swallowed? Like, it's like, or is it like, oh, that's like a, what? I don't know. Disrespectful thing not to? I don't know. Where did it come from that you have to choose?
It's toxic masculinity.
It is.
It's someone's seen it on something.
You should be just glad you're there in the first place, for fuck's sake. Who cares what happens afterwards?
That's what I'm saying.
Housekeeping.
If you've got to the stage where you've busted in someone's mouth. Do whatever you want with it. Keep it.
But
Sell
why
it.
in movies is that a thing where they ask?
She
Like,
spit
does
or
she do
swallow?
that? Does that mean if she swallows, she's like obviously more like
We're dirty.
dirty?
Yeah, but what if
So
she...
that means what? You marry the one that doesn't? Like, I mean, I don't understand. Like,
I have no idea.
where did this come from? Why are men so fucking weird?
I don't know. Maybe they were like, man, can she even deal with not getting... She just wants it in her body.
Well, it's already in her body. Like, she's just putting it in her fucking mouth. What do you care what she does with it? Bloody men. Like, oh my God. Just be glad you're there. She's fucking thanking her.
Is there girls squirting in dudes' faces? Like, did he spit or swallow? Or did he gulp down a pint and a half of piss?
That's enough. That's enough. Right. Okay, that's enough. That's enough.
I had to prove a point,
No,
Mairin.
calm.
I'm sticking up. I'm a feminist.
You literally proved, you proved no points there by saying that.
For the audio listeners, I was ODing an alpha brain. How did we get to that? What are we talking about there?
Because it's you.
What were we talking about there?
You going on fucking tour and then people swallowing. I always try and keep this really clean in case someone I know listens. And you always make me talk about something like this.
Well, you're talking about buying water and swallowing. Anyway, listen, we're moving on. I'm going on tour. We also have two very exciting live podcasts to organise. Would you do a live podcast? Would you come on for 10 minutes on a live podcast?
Oh, I don't know. Oh my God, I don't know.
Do you get sweaty shins?
That's already made me scared.
You pedaling?
Oh yeah, I've done a wetness. I don't know. Oh my God, I've never thought about that.
Because you were dying to get on stage at the Odyssey. You were like, you know, what time?
No, I wasn't, but that was for a photograph. I'm like, get me off. Half the time I see the photos and I'm like, my legs are like still in the air, ready to run. I'm like, why won't I just stand there like a regular person, or even turn around and like wave at someone and say hello? I don't even. I'm like, oh my God, quickly take the photo, let me get off. It's
you had a team of people doing your makeup and you were like,
overwhelming.
When am I on? That's what you said.
Didn't have it all. I was running around booking things for you. I think you'll find.
Yeah, I'm joking, of course.
Getting you bloody massages and
breathing
techniques.
We're gonna do a big live. We're gonna do a big live podcast. I'm excited for it, and that's.
Are you being serious that you'd put me on it?
I would bring you on for a second.
But like for a second, okay. I would maybe if I had some drinks. I would
just like a round. You know what I mean? Like a bit of a segment.
Okay, I could do that. I think. Don't.
Because we're doing one, and it's gonna be in May, and it's big time.
Yeah.
And that's what pushes us away from the pack, Mairin, because no one else is doing it. GB live up in this hoe.
I'm excited.
I'm excited.
Yeah, no, that one is going to be great. No, I probably actually, because that one's by Philip, I would. Just for the crack baby. I don't know. That makes me nervous thinking about it. Isn't that weird? I don't know why. But it's kind of excited, nervous. But
do you know what's funny? Like, about performing in general? Sometimes in the middle of like a tour, you could be super busy and flat out, and you're like, oh fuck, I just want to chill at home. And then because January was quiet for us because of COVID, and then I'm talking to the management and getting things. Now I'm like, how exciting is it to just drop like a big list of gigs and go do big gigs and everything?
Because you have these all to look forward to now.
Yeah.
And it makes it very much feel like a new year when your new things are out.
Very true.
Which is exciting.
Also, in other news, before we talk about Swan shit and Joe Rogan, this is all pipeline, and I don't know whether to say this or not, but
what?
Gordo from those conspiracy guys said to me, your boy Tim Dillon, who's playing Dublin, has rescheduled for 2nd of April. Do we nail him down for a podcast for an hour? And I said, you go after that like the fucking bloodhound that you are. Because
you already have tickets to a show. Like,
I'll be going to see him.
Huge fan.
Huge fan.
So how cool would that be?
Fantastic.
Maybe this is where we get the Delta Mafia back. What's a military term? Yeah, you get them...
redeployed?
Yeah, we'll redeploy them. Maybe we just need to like tweet Tim Dillon, or what is he on?
Twitter.
A
lot of followers, like, but you know, if you smashed into his fucking DMs on Instagram and just be like, you gotta do it, man, and then I'll sit back and I'll let them two have intelligent conversation, and I'll hop in with gay jokes every once in a while.
I think it has to happen. It would be an absolute...
And neither of them drink, so I'll just be sitting in the corner pounding stouts. Pints of plain, as they say in the big smoke down there.
How exciting.
Very excited, very nice.
I think you should get on alright, you know.
Oh, we'll get on fine. Probably try and go with me. I'm hot. I'm a hot dude.
Yeah. Are you his type?
No.
No, okay.
Not at all. I think I think you tend to just go to the opposite end of the spectrum when you're a gay dude.
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
Like if you're dealt the card of large, sort of masculine looking man, you wanna bang like, little twinklet.
Yeah, makes sense.
You do see some like twinkish fellas, and
Where's this going?
you're like, I seen a guy the other day. It was actually in Singe and Burn, and I was like, the dude would fit through the middle of a polo. I was like, how do they get so petite? I've never seen. Like, I'm genuinely like, I've never seen a straight guy that thin.
Think there's a correlation?
I don't know. Maybe she's born with it. Maybe it's Maybelline. Do you know what I mean? I'm just saying. Like, I mean, this dude could have jumped through a donut. Like,
I think there could be a correlation.
Like some sort of predeterminism.
No, not predetermined, but I think maybe if that's, you know what I mean, that's part of who you are, and normally, a lot of your identity will affect how you act in society as well, and how you do and how you present yourself and all those kind of things. So maybe you don't go after that like huge bulky physique that like a straight man might do to like impress other men in a non-sexual way, or to try and get
go after
women.
it for yourself. You mean like try and get it? Yeah, maybe.
So maybe because you're gay, you don't really feel the need to go after that. Obviously, I'm not talking about just
I get
whether
it.
you're born with it or not. But
it's a bit like your sort of currency as an or whatever is it. It's like if you were like some straight dude out clubbing and all, you're like, right, I need to look like I'm on fucking Love Island here and do a bunch of training, get all big.
Because you're going after what girls are attracted to, and you're maybe also trying to impress other men in a
dominance kind of
way. So you go.
But if you're looking for like a millionaire gay guy to take you on his yacht, maybe you just have to be the width of his penis. Yeah, because that's what this guy looked like.
I'm totally guessing. I don't know if that maybe.
It's just fun to talk about.
Is that wrong? Is that like wrong to say?
It's just one of the things to talk about. Do you know what I mean?
Mhm. I would imagine, because when I think about it now, I'm like, if I was a lesbian, then you might dress.
You're not a lesbian?
No, but like you might dress or act or do something slightly different because my, whole lifestyle would be slightly different than how I am right now. If I was to trying to impress a woman in a sexual way rather than a man, or do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like that would affect how I would dress or how I would have my body, possibly. I don't know.
Jeez.
I don't know that. But I'm just saying, I'm just trying to imagine. I'm like, yeah, maybe, because I don't think you would feel under the same pressures as a woman or women who go out trying to get men, how you would dress and stuff. Because you dress to try and impress a man or to try and impress other women, again, in a non-sexual way, but in a like friendship or in a like societal
I think the
kind
spectrum
of
people that you can be attracted to in the gay world there's a lot more. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so you don't just have to look like one way.
Yeah, there's many forms.
Whereas maybe like a heterosexual man.
Whereas dudes, you can literally just tape your tits together and they're like, my mind was tricked. I fancy.
Yeah.
Boner.
Funny that. I wonder, has anyone really looked into that? In depth, I mean.
Because it is a known thing that like.
But they do
it. LGBT, like if you're
in nature, they do it. Like in nature, like birds do it. They dress different ways to get different partners.
They dress different ways.
No, but they'll have like their plumage is different to try and get a woman, and then it can be different when they're like fighting off a man or defending.
Yeah.
Their female against another like whatever rival or something. So you mean like the animal world does it? They present themselves differently, whether they're trying to like mate with someone or whether they're trying to defend something or fight or whatever, or be a part of the group.
Yeah.
An animal will act different and they can't dress different, but a lot of them can do
because you're just
things.
you're like moving it. Yeah, I know what you mean.
So if you were a different sexuality, you might actually present yourself physically differently, very differently. I think you see that, if you've ever known someone who's like, you always knew them as straight and then maybe they come out a bit later, and I mean like say they're maybe in their 20s or something,
they're
and then
all
of a sudden
listening to this just bashing their head off the table.
I don't know, I know I'm probably sound so ignorant, but I've seen it, and then they do dress differently. Obviously that's how they would would have preferred to probably present themselves and have their life the whole time. I'm not saying that, but I just mean like there's definitely
I've known
I've definitely seen a difference in someone's like it's kind of your whole personality in a way. It's how you present yourself
I've
physically and
several
how you speak to people now.
several
And things.
dudes who came out later on, and they all, for some reason, got super skinny. And I don't know why.
But maybe they just, maybe that, you know, the other
Maybe
identity was something they were trying
stress eating.
Well, yeah, but maybe they were trying to, like, you know, overcompensate or go for a look that they thought suited that thing, you know, and then it's different when they're able to just be themselves.
True.
I don't know. Hopefully I didn't sound ignorant, but I'm just like, it's just an observation.
And where do you sit on the N word?
I don't sit on it. Where do I sit on it?
At the minute, what does that say? Oh yeah, at the minute, the big online rage is they're just trying to destroy Joe Rogan at the minute.
It does seem like people are just after him.
Because after, you know, he had certain guests on his podcast, and then Neil Young was like, "I'm leaving Spotify," which was literally like
10 people cared.
Honest, I mean, like Neil Young, I'm sure he does have good songs. You know, my dad's a big fan, but
yeah,
it's literally like a guy going,
or his fans even paying for Spotify.
I'm going on hunger strike. It's like someone going, you know, to McDonald's, I'll never eat here again, and people just go, all right, bye. You know, it's that sort of thing. Unfortunately,
it is a bit. Yeah, I don't think he had much.
So they went with
currency.
Rogan, but basically, I think, you know, the media in general, you know, or the famous, the royal they out there are just like, so we got to take him down a notch somehow. We've let him get too out of control. And I heard someone else say it, sorry, that they're like, they'll never let anyone get that big independently anymore. Do
you think so? That'll just be
probably. I mean, because it
is astronomical.
It's massive.
How huge Joe Rogan the entity is.
Because they know how powerful it can be and how much leverage he has. Like when he had, I was gonna say Bernie Sanders on. Bernie Mac. I scared you, motherfucking Joe. That has an effect on like how people think across the world.
Oh yeah.
You know, it makes an impact.
But I think the whole topic now has stemmed from people obviously with the Spotify thing being a bit outraged at his opinions around COVID and all those things. And the problem with Joe Rogan is he is just a man with opinions and guests, but he is a global name, and it was a global pandemic, so it affected everyone. And here's a globally known, globally listened to guy. So there is a like danger there for.
There is a danger, and all he said,
information, whether it's right, wrong, is it opinion, is it fact? It's all down to how you process it. But the problem is there's enough people who can take the wrong message or something from someone so big. It's so unnatural for one person to be so globally well known and be totally independent of anything.
It is. And he even said, like, you know, one of the measures I'm going to take going forward is I'll put a disclaimer at the start. And you're like, is that all it takes? Is that all it would have taken for someone to go, well, let's not really fucking fully take this on board? But sometimes people don't even realise maybe that, like... But people take information that is supposed to be, you know, the sort of official information, like through the government, the WHO and all that shit, and they go about their day with the wrong impression of that.
Yeah.
You know? People getting their fucking rules mixed up and their opinions weird. And like, I think the main point that he was not pushing, but like chatting about quite a bit was these are there was like personal anecdotal evidence, as they say, where he just told exactly what he did, which was, I got sick, I took the things that you know are good things to take, but were for some reason like held back from everybody, all the ivermectins and all the bullshits, and it worked for me. And that's all he was saying. And then he was sort of questioning why no one's offered any treatments. They're just like, you've got COVID,
yeah, he was just
ride it out now.
Topics,
no one even would be like, just stick, you know, I didn't hear once that whole time, like, okay, if you get it, you know, just to ease it a bit, take a fucking Lemsip and a ibuprofen. You know, no one even, I never heard anyone say that. Like, you know, you could, you know, settle yourself a wee bit with generic sort of flu remedies and stuff like that. No one ever said that at all. It was just like, you've got COVID, sweet, see what happens.
No, well, I've heard loads of people say take part. You know what I mean? I feel like you have.
I haven't.
You're not listening to my people. I follow a lot of pharmacists online.
Oh, well, fucking...
But that's what I mean. Like, everyone's stream of information is different.
Well, that's it.
And for some people, Joe Rogan may have been the only stream of information, which is
For a lot of
dangerous.
people,
And I don't agree or disagree with anything said. I don't really care. But what I'm saying is, it is insane how one person, like, the only other person like that is, you know, presidents and leaders of countries.
Mm-hmm.
But they're normally, quote unquote, elected. But again, there's also red tape involved in getting them there, and lots of other people involved in decisions, and what goes out publicly, and how is this going to affect how, you know, the public take this information, and disclaimers and all those things. He doesn't need to do that, but it's just that he's so big now that it's kind of,
it's a strange
it's
time.
got to this stage where probably people are going, oh my god, he could say anything and people would believe him. It doesn't matter whether whatever he said is right, wrong, or otherwise. There you go. He's so huge, like, that he has a power that is quite, you know, it could be quite volatile. He could do things that could very much change.
Well, that's it. And
big people's actual behaviors and opinions.
Oh yeah, like if anyone wanted to like
incite
a fucking riot the way Trump did, he could do it.
Yeah,
for sure.
I don't think he will. I genuinely think he's
would.
quite a very smart level guy, but
I think he's probably
such a huge
on a lot of levels what the world fucking needs quite a lot of the time, which is like someone who is like he is like a relentless truth seeker. Yeah. Even to the point where it makes him absolutely no crack at all. You know, he keeps on just a no comedian. You're like, well, you won't even let a bit of twisting go on, because you're like, pull that up, and you're like, it's Theo Von, let him ramble shite a wee minute. He's like, no, it has to be absolute fucking.
I was actually listening to a podcast with Kevin Novak,
your boyfriend,
my boyfriend, my Iranian boyfriend, and he was saying about Joe Rogan too. He goes, I couldn't go. He was on this podcast and he literally was like making jokes and obviously putting silly voices on. He goes, I couldn't go 2 sentences without trying to make something into a joke. He's like, how does Joe Rogan, how as a comedian does he not try and make everything funny and into a joke? He's like, I don't know how he does it, but it's because I don't really see him as a comedian. Like, we've seen him live. He's all right.
I think a lot of comedians.
I think he does it because, again, he's Joe Rogan and he can do anything.
Yeah, I think he does it because it's fun to him. Honestly.
That's what I'm saying. I think it's more he is doing it because he wants to do it.
Yeah.
And it's something different that he has the ability to do and play with his friends, basically.
I know. I was listening to something.
But if you didn't know who he was, you'd be like, who's this dwarf man with this shirt that's too big for him?
Exactly. It's funny because he's been held as such. What's the term? You know, he's been fucking under a microscope and just examined and all this stuff, like gone through with a fine-tooth comb. Yeah. Way more than any fucking politician. Scrutinized. And you see people like...
Yeah. Which is a bit shit for him, because now he's going to feel like he can't get away. He can't just chat
see the way he came
like
out
a regular guy.
See the way he came out and, like, you know, apologizes and everything. Who did I hear? I think it was Andrew Schultz or something. He was talking about, like, when you make a video apologizing for what you've done, a lot of people will watch it and think you're apologizing for what they think you've done. Yeah. Not what you actually did, because he was talking about Louis C.K. at the time.
People will just take it as you're
like, why have these guys to come forward? It's unfortunate. Like, the best way to handle everything now is just trumpet. Yeah. Just go. Yeah. Just fucking, like, literally just, oh, did you say this? And he's like, maybe it did, maybe it didn't. Who gives a fuck anyway? And just move on. Yeah. Because, again, going back to the fucking streams of information, people just customize it and select the bits they want. And
even
when it comes down to, like, interpretation of a statement or a post or anything, or something's in text or whatever, it's just like, I'll just take that whatever way I think I want to take it.
See if the world, if every individual could realize that everyone has their own internal perception of reality and their world, no one would fight or find any problem, because your internal perception of your reality is very different than someone else. And it's so obvious. I've said it before, when you look at someone's Facebook feed, they're so different. Your Instagram feed is so different than mine. You're seeing adverts I don't see. You're seeing people I don't see. You're seeing horrific videos of people getting beheaded. I don't see those things.
I don't see that
But then the videos that are targeted to me are very different. The same way you can hear someone's opinion and take it one way. You can take someone's apology and you can take it on how you've decided to deal with it that day, depending on how you feel about yourself that day and what's going on in your life that day or that week. It is an ever-changing thing, and it is literally impossible. So that's why his apology was probably completely necessary as a huge global, essentially icon. But even I learned when I worked in this other job, like a makeup counter, and they used to tell us to never say sorry or apologize to a customer, not because you're being horrible, like it was to be helpful, but it was going, you're basically admitting you did something wrong, and majority of the time you didn't do anything wrong. It was just that someone's coming back being like, this is the wrong shade of whatever you sold me, and you're sort of going, no, you chose that, like I've give you the options, you made the decision, it's on your side. So they were all saying, don't go, oh, I'm so sorry, because then the person's like, yeah, you should be sorry, you know, you did something wrong to me. So they sort of taught us to go, don't say you're sorry, like fix the problem, but don't say you're sorry, because that sounds like you're admitting to doing something wrong. And that's probably where you're saying there, like him saying he's sorry made me think, oh, we must have done something wrong then. And also the funny thing is, he has to apologize for something that like I didn't even know that video existed.
I haven't seen it.
But once again, his reality right there is probably bombarded with like, did you see this video, and this guy made this video, and you said this in the past.
I haven't seen it.
I haven't seen it. Probably 1 million people haven't seen it. So to us, we're going, oh, that wouldn't have affected my opinion on Joe Rogan at all. But to him, that's a thing.
Like, so I couldn't find it.
That's what's so crazy, isn't it?
And it's the same as like, it goes back to that Dave Chappelle thing where people are saying you're transphobic, and all he goes, you haven't even seen what I said.
Yeah.
He's like, you didn't even watch it.
No. And most people will just grasp onto what the one bit of information they have. And that's
you know, the clickbait headline says like Dave Chappelle makes transphobic jokes, and then people who don't even fucking watch him at all go, oh, he's fucking transphobic. But I think he literally said that. If you think I'm transphobic, you're not listening to what I'm saying.
You're not listening. But that's the problem with like social media and everything being in like a constant stream of information. You're only seeing what part of the stream you've put your hand into and dipped into. Well, so if you've went, he said something transphobic, and you can dip in and go, there's that transphobic thing he said, you're not seeing all of the rest of the river of information he has. So
do you know how that's true?
Crazy.
Do you know how that's true? Because I follow a lot of comedians from America, a lot of fighters, and a lot of people who would be in his circle. So on my stream, it's a load of people going, he's one of the best guys ever. Yeah. He's a fucking great guy. This is horse shit. Chappelle, fucking Donnell Rawlings, all these black guys in photos with him going like, how would this even be possible if this guy was a fucking racist? Are you mental?
Yeah. But on someone else's stream, it's all
Joe
Rogan.
Left-wing fucking magazines, you know.
It's like Joe Rogan said this, and Joe Rogan's spouting this misinformation, and he's doing this, and he's a horrible guy, and he does blah blah blah, and he tells you this, and he's fans of Jordan Peterson, and what's wrong with Jordan Peterson? You could go on, and you could see like one side of the internet, like he could be the worst guy, and the other side, it's all people who actually know him being like he's the best guy.
And then you cut to his fucking Instagram,
and then you could ask someone else down the road, and they're like, who the fuck's Joe Rogan?
Exactly. And
then this is why you'll never win.
You go on his fucking Instagram, and he's like, people are asking me how I'm dealing with this, and he's out having dinner on mushrooms. Like, not gonna fly.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, he's not gonna care really. It's not gonna affect him. I think he did the right thing, because he's probably going to have to do this.
People have like used to talk about your 15 minutes of fame.
Yeah.
You'll have your 15 minutes of fame.
Yeah.
You know, where like for fucking a couple of days it's uncomfortable, and then it brushes over till some other horseshit happens. Although I said to you earlier, it's only a matter of time before, you know, he finds out that he accidentally raped someone one time.
Oh yeah,
it'll all come out, like someone will be like, he did this to me, and he'll be like, what? They're just throwing everything at him now.
That's slightly different, because I don't think you can take that in the wrong way.
Well, I don't mean that extreme, but you know what I mean. It'll be like it'll be wave after wave. It'll be the transphobic thing next, because he talked about fighters not telling anybody that they were trans and beating the shit out of, you know, cis women. And then it'll be something else. It'll be something. They'll just keep going until they try and destroy him, and they actually probably can't. Because even if he,
I don't think you can destroy him with a few stories.
Even if he went full Alex Jones, and they pulled him off he's too valuable to everybody.
Yeah.
They're not going to pull him off anything. But like, if they did, you don't think he could just start a website and make like if he was like, oh, I'm like Netflix, I'm fucking like, if he started a Patreon type thing and did it himself, he'd make more money than he made off Spotify.
Yeah, right enough. Yeah,
probably. He would have so many people following him in the battle.
Yeah.
You know, it's crazy, like, isn't it?
Exactly. It is just that it's the scary thing about the internet, and it's sort of what I sort of worry about the future, which is you genuinely are not going to be allowed to have an opinion that isn't a very middle of the road, don't offend anyone opinion, right?
Yeah.
And what happens then, and my fear would be that would actually breed more, racism and transphobia and sectarianism and XYZ, all of the, things, just anything to do with hating someone you don't know anything about.
Well, you're constantly aware of it.
Well, it's not that, but when you feel like you are not allowed to have any opinion on things, people will be probably terrified to bring up even the topic of something in the future. Not now, but like in the future, it might be so like you just cannot bring up the topic of sexuality. You can't bring it up the topic of this. You can't bring up the topic of this. You can't bring up race. You can't even have a conversation about it because it's so like scary, and you don't know how someone's going to interpret it, and you don't know if like your job is in jeopardy, and your sponsorship will stop if you're in a job that involves that or whatever. You could be so scared to have any sort of, like, I see influencers, even local ones, everything. Talking now where people just fully just went, I'm not talking about a vaccine, because they're just like, I can't talk about it. So even though clearly they do have an opinion, yes or no, they won't talk about it. And that's happened with loads of things. But I do think that just means that people are in their own house with their own groups of friends because they can't talk about it and just have discussions.
Yeah.
Like adult, healthy, non-ignorant discussions. People will just sort of build up a hate for things they don't know more because they're not allowed to discuss it. I think you have to be able to discuss topics openly so that you learn from people. For someone to go, oh no, that's not really right what you said, and you're like, oh why? And then they will explain. You go, oh my god, I never knew that was wrong to say that. I'm so glad I talked to this person who knows more about that than I do. Like, but you're not allowed to be at wrong. The risk of being cancelled all the time. That's
the thing. You're not allowed to be wrong. Not allowed to make mistakes anymore. If you want to never be wrong, you have to do that thing where you're like dancing over all these laser beams and landmines that you're not allowed to your
friends then about it.
Quietly.
Your friends, you're all like quietly talking about this, and your friends have the same opinions of you. How does that not breed more racism or transphobia? Of course it does.
That's the scariest. That's like way racism, for example. That's the scariest racism. When you're a wee tight-knit family sitting there going, you hate these fucking N-words, instead of like someone's old granny casually, like being like saying blah blah something. Blah, and there's a bunch of darkies down, and you're like you can't say that anymore. A little bit of ignorance because you're ancient.
Yes.
How the fuck can she keep up with everything? Because she's not on Twitter all day.
Yes.
I know it's still racist and whatever, but like.
But back in the day, it was like the parents, grandparents, whatever, saying something, the younger generation correcting them, going, we don't say that, we don't do that, we don't judge that, it's not this way anymore, whatever. Then normally, in good circumstances, whoever the older generation goes, oh right, okay, in my day it was like this, but now it's like this, that's my new lesson, and that's done. But that's because it's not on social media, whereas it's all on social media, and everyone's afraid to be cancelled and lose their jobs and lose their friends and lose their everything. Obviously, I'm not like saying, you should say anything like whatever, any sort of hate or ignorance against something you don't know. But at the same time, clearly what Joe Rogan was doing was saying, I was discussing this. Mm-hmm. And now I'm being cancelled, 15 years later because of a discussion about a word. And he admitted, now I wouldn't use that word even in a discussion because then I knew what I knew then. And now I know what I know now. How can you cancel someone for the past like that? It doesn't make sense. You're deleting the fact that they've evolved as a person, and clearly someone in his job evolves a lot because he learns a lot of information.
And guess what? He evolves quicker than everyone because he fucking actively
takes off for brain.
seeks out information, has people on that he wants to learn from. So if anyone evolves, or has evolved, it's him because he's had thousands of hours of chats with people.
How is what he did more wrong than someone who doesn't even open themselves up to a discussion about something they don't know enough about yet? His job was literally
that's a choice. Like that's you going like.
But those are the people probably trying to cancel the Joe Rogans of the world. It's the people who have one very finite view of the world, and then they just go, "Well, you did this and it's wrong," even though it's not you now. If you ever did it I don't believe that you'll ever change.
It's why it's important, you know, to like I'm a big fan of Tim Dillon, and the guy just flames everything. You know, like you have to, like, or maybe like the fucking Joey Diaz's of the world and all. Like, people tried to fucking cancel him and all, and you're like, you can't. You need them. You need them there all the time.
Yeah.
You know, and just, you know, because he grew up in a fucking crazy house and addicted to drugs and this mad multicultural fucking neighborhood and all, and he says like spick or tranny in the middle of this insane story. You can't do that. Like, do you know what I mean? You need to let him do that. He's not racist. He's just fucking.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. I've heard certain people tell stories and maybe podcasts and stuff, and they're like really liberal type. So am I, sort of, like, but liberal doesn't really mean liberal anymore. But like, you know what I mean? Real left wing sort of. They can barely get through a sentence. You know, they're like, oh, we were on holiday and there was one of these, you know, how would you call it? You know, sort of non-binary. Might have been a cis child. You know, not that I don't have a problem with him. I have friends that are, and you're like, fuck me, tell the story, will you?
I know.
Jesus Christ!
You have to say
you're
that
in
many
Thailand.
apologies.
It's a fucking lady boy. tell the goddamn story. You know, and he happened to be a black lad in the thing, and you're like, oh my god, you know, like, just fucking.
Yeah, there's gonna be someone
like,
you know, the victim of a horrible crime, and they won't describe their attacker because for fear of fucking being whatever. Like,
it is funny though.
You can't be stereotypical. You can't, you know, describe someone.
But that's a whole other. That's a whole other kettle of fish, because then you're talking about like systemic racism, where it's like, what did he look like?
Yeah.
He was 6'4", wearing a red coat, so we assume he's white. What did the other one look like? Black.
Yeah.
With a green coat on.
I know.
Like,
I know.
You have to throw in. You have to throw in the race if it's not white. And that's like,
which is not right.
That's
at
a
all.
whole other fucking conversation.
No, I agree, but you know what I'm saying. Like, I'm just joking, saying like, you know, you can just imagine some sort of sketch show where it's like, what does he look like? I can't say. A human. I can't assume anything about their identity.
There's a famous clip from the UFC.
I'm only assuming.
Where Mike Goldberg was like, I don't know, he was like, Chuck Liddell in the blue shorts and Rashad Evans in the red shorts, and he's like, yeah, Chuck's the white guy and Thing's the black guy. You know, it was like so.
Yeah,
he was like the blue shorts with the white trim and the blue shorts with the stars. You know, you're like, bro, come on, man.
But that's what I mean. Like, you can't. You know what I mean? You're afraid to say something like that, even though you don't have a bad intention behind that.
I throw in white all the time.
Well, why not? Yeah, exactly.
If I'm describing something, I say white as fuck.
Well, you call everyone white, so.
I'm an African American man. We will. It was a great chat, Mairin. Well done.
I don't know. Sometimes, again, even what I was trying to say there, even I do it to myself. I'm going, did I say something wrong? I wish I didn't say that, because in case I sounded really ignorant or offended someone. So even I'm doing it, going, I'd rather not talk about this where people are listening to me in case I've said something bad.
Do you know what I mean?
But that's what the world's like now.
You're out there having a conversation. People might want to listen
terrifying.
to it.
I think, again, we've said this 1,000 times.
The man in the arena thing, isn't it?
Yes, correct. That quote. No, but it's
a lengthy
true. Bastard,
like, but it's
I
like,
know it is. Yeah, you'd rather be the guy doing it than the guy there shouting at the guy doing it.
Exactly.
Basically. Yeah. No, totally. It is just one of it. Yeah, it is weird, isn't it? Like, though, you're just. It
brings it all back to like context and intent and all that.
That's
shit.
That's right. That's what I meant to say.
Don't seem to give a fuck.
We
about
do
it
say
anymore.
this quite a lot. Everything is about intent, and at the end of the day, I try and believe that 90% of people have good intent, and they aren't. You know, they don't have prejudice. They don't have hate. They see the good in people. There are obviously the bad ones out there that are like that, but I try and believe that people, whether they said something wrong or they explained themselves wrong or maybe they come across wrong, I try to believe that their intention was never wrong, that their intention wouldn't have been that, or try and make sure that I'm doing that too. Like intention has a huge part to play in lots of things.
Yeah, the problem is it gets lost when someone swipes past the headline.
Yeah.
And they don't even
read
into it. They get all the information from the headline. I've done it a million times.
Yeah. Well, something written down in black and white can be the absolute opposite of what an intention was.
I heard, again, referencing fucking Andrew Schultz, he was talking about that sort of clickbaity headline culture, and he was like, so many comedians talking about Epstein and fucking dropping all these jokes, and it's a punchline now. Yeah. And he's like, he goes, we're using those girls too. He goes, because we don't know their fucking names.
Yeah.
We're just making jokes about this guy, and no one really read into it or give a fuck. Do you know what I mean? It's just something that happened that's fucking horrific and is abnormal and sounds funny when you talk about it.
Yeah, it's a joke now, whereas that actually was people.
Yeah.
Like women's lives destroyed. Trauma. Absolute trauma.
Crazy. Yeah.
And you don't really read into it. I know, that's it.
Yeah.
Everything's a headline now, like.
Feel sad now.
Huh? Do you feel sad? Do you? I know.
No.
I know sometimes you can think these things and go, oh my God, the world's so scary and we have a child and like, what's it gonna, I just go,
that's why you need comedy and that's why you need fucking
like Freddy.
People that goddamn be able to say whatever the fucking want. Do you want me to show you?
Dead on Mafia, there we go, bring it back.
Do you want me to show you?
Dead on Mafia, it just everyone stop being assholes. For
do you remember
fuck's
fucking
sake.
Joey Diaz line? I love you, cocksuckers. This is a man who's been to many gigs watching. This is I needed this morning. Do you know, because I was getting shit from people on Patreon.
Is it another dog with a boner?
No,
See, this
I'm
is another dog with a boner.
The dog with a boner's been fucking read out in this podcast. But I was like, I needed to see this morning because it was fucking. You know, this happens. You fucking make time and you work hard, and you know, my morning was spent giving a lot of money away to all the people who've gigged with me and helped me over the last couple of months. That was my morning. Fucking Colin, the secretary, paying all the fucking bills. People giving me shit on Patreon, you know what I mean?
That's full name the new turbo.
What? And then this chap sent me this. I'll not give his name away. His name's Phil. Now, of course, you know, just explain to me why. Explain to me why you wouldn't play. Do you know what I mean? Like, we're right here and you would fucking play. The fucking thing is right there. Router, I'll fucking Ricky, you bastard. Now, of course, maybe you took it away, but anyway. This is him and his son, I think. He's a bit grown up. Just watching my show, laughing her head off. Now, isn't that great?
Ah, that looks so fun.
That's great.
What was that one? That was
SSE.
Godzilla?
Yeah.
Was it the Godzilla special?
But like,
not special, the SSE show.
It's hard to.
That's proper.
It's easy to forget how people are affected by things. So all this shit that fucking Rogan's getting, and then all these people are saying, oh, he's a great guy. People are saying like he's opened loads of doors for everybody. He's very generous. He's made people's careers.
Yeah.
All this shit.
For sure.
Hours and hours and hours. Millions of hours people listen to it. Millions of hours people probably being positively affected. Big style. People like really in trouble, getting a lot of their fucking advice from that through the experts he's talking to. And you're just like, this is what it's come down to now. A small fucking pocket of just dickheads.
Yeah.
Trying to ruin all that.
I know, like
there's people with Joe Rogan tattoos on their fucking back and all, because they're like, this guy changed my life. I'm in the fucking, you know, psychedelics and fucking self-improvement and all this shit because of this one guy. There's literal comedians that are fucking multi-millionaires because they came up with him, Tom Segura, all them ones, like,
or we're on his podcast, or yeah,
people have made careers off the fact that they know him, and it's immediately forgotten because
but what was basically like
someone do you know what, if I was that rich, I would just be like, who wants to do this, and then just get lawyers and solicitors and all to just break it all down and see if there's any laws broken or whatever, and just be like, right now I'm just gonna fucking financially put my dick in your ass for the rest of your life. How about that? Like, there's something a bit like of an assassination going on,
yeah,
where you're like, who the fuck are you? Like, you're just gonna decide that you want to, you know, put this clip thing together and destroy a career.
It would be different if this was
loser.
Like,
fucking
you know,
loser.
This was on a podcast a week ago.
Well,
but
that's
like,
the thing.
How long ago was it? Like,
you have a, I think you have
ago?
a fucking shelf life where you go,
I think I
didn't see you give too many fucks 8 years ago when he was podcasting. You know what I mean?
Like, you're not condoning anyone if they really are doing something wrong. But I think him just bringing up the topic, you can't. It's very hard to, like, as you say, like the amount of the volumes of good topics he brought up. He was basically like the figurehead for, like, more or less male wellness, physical and mental. Like, you know, it's a big industry now talking about your mental health, but like, he probably opened the doors for men maybe to like be exposed to like, you know, different people and how you work, and you know, men didn't really, you know, years ago do that, whereas his interviewing style and the way he talks about things and how to develop yourself probably was opening those doors, even if people didn't know it, for men to like open that up, that side of them. So like, how far, as you say, like, does it have to be where like one thing can just take it all away? I know, again, just because what he did wasn't in and of itself racist. He was talking about, oh yeah, you shouldn't do it, whatever, you shouldn't use that word, we all know that, but like, so long ago, and does that take away everything he's done? I don't know.
Absolutely.
Is that the conversation forever? Like, everyone's going to be brought up for something, and it's like well, does all the good now just disappear? I don't know. How does it work?
Everybody in the industry has benefited because he exists. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everybody.
You included, because he does podcasts, and everyone seemed to know the Joe Rogan podcast. Yeah. Even people who didn't know what they were.
This one's called Mo Rogan Part 2.
Oh God.
This podcast. Do you want to quickly talk about the Tinder swindler before we get out of here?
Oh, yeah.
Before we light these tiki torches and go burn down a village?
Oh, jeez. Yeah.
We have 10 minutes to talk about it.
Right. Go.
So, if you haven't seen the Tinder swindler on Netflix, spoiler alert, we watched it the other night. And
did you pay attention?
Oh yeah.
Did you? Okay,
yeah.
Tell me what happened.
So you got this dude who would match with chicks on Tinder. He would put across, you know, he had a very flashy like social media. He had the word official after his name.
Yeah, he did. I don't know how he did
Lviv. What was his name?
Levi, I think it was.
Levi. So he would very quickly take these women, you know, in a sort of sweep you off your feet type of way, and he would be like, let's go quickly to fucking some other country on my private jet, show them all the bling of the day, you know, we're on a private jet, we're staying in nice places, we're having nice parties. And then once they were in the little system, he would be like, I've got enemies, you know, I'm in the diamond trade. And then all of a sudden he'd be like, listen, we've been out for a month, can't wait to see you at the weekend. Anyway, I'm running a wee bit of trouble here, you wouldn't fire me fucking 50 G's, would you? And that was more or less it, and he just did it to several women at one time.
It's like the perfect crime, wasn't it? Because it was like one woman's money paid for the next.
Yeah.
To swindle the next one.
Yeah.
He used that money to show off to the next one.
So he would get a new girl.
Clever, like.
He would get a new girl and be texting the girl he'd been seeing for about a month and be like, listen, I can't wait to see you. Fucking do me a favour. I can't use my card. The enemies are after me. Can you send me a bit of money? And this girl with no money would be like taking out loans on fucking Wonga. These payday loans with their fucking the interest rates, like, hey, it's only 1,000% a day.
Yeah.
Would you borrow tenner? Would you owe me tomorrow? 100 grand.
Yeah. It goes up by £10 an hour. So
yeah, it's like a taxi meter. But
it's a taxi meter, yeah.
So he would literally be on holiday with the new chick, being like, can you send me money? And then it'd be all like fucking caviar and champagne.
It's like, I'm impressed as much as I'm repulsed. Do you know what I mean?
That's all crimes.
I know.
That's
it is.
all like high profile crime.
Does your brain, when you watch something like that, and I mean, I can't relate to him at all. I'm not even, you know, he's literally the opposite to me, but I'm like going, that's so fucking clever. I wish I could think of something like that.
But it's always the way. It's like,
do you know what I mean? My brain goes,
can you not think of something?
How can I think of something like that?
Like, surely you could get actual rich if you're that fucking shady.
I know, that's the weird part. Like, but then some people, that's not fun.
Do you think it was
him just setting up a legitimate business and trying to make profit probably is like so boring to him. He likes the power and the
there's plenty danger. Of creative trickery in a lot of businesses.
Yeah, but not fucking over women, you know.
Think that was his thing? Like, he enjoyed just like.
Yeah. Oh my god. Of course he did.
Oh really?
Well, if he didn't, you couldn't do that. Most people who aren't psychopaths can't do that to someone.
Do you think he was in love with?
Could you like trick someone? Pretend that, you know, even take out.
We're married, aren't we?
No, but like, oh yeah. Yeah, mine's a really long game of 80 years trying to swindle you out of your money.
80?
Yeah.
80?
Yeah. 80. What age were you when we got together? You were 24.
80 years? What are you saying?
Yeah, we're gonna live to we're like 200, aren't we?
Yeah. What are you talking about?
Oh my god.
Swindle my money? What are you saying?
No, I'm joking. I'm saying, if you weren't a psychopath, you couldn't like try and like get people to fall in love with you without you having any feelings clearly for them, you doing all that and then ask them for money and knowingly put them in like horrific debt whilst you are lying and with someone else already and using their money to party when you pretend that's like
lack of empathy thing where you're just like,
so obviously he can't just, it's not fun for him to just make money.
fair enough.
He likes destroying people.
Okay.
He likes the power of it. Clearly,
okay.
That's the fun.
He's
getting away with it. Do you know what I mean? Probably
you could tell it was so robotic when he spoke to them. He's like, "Hello, baby, I love you. I miss you. I want to see you at the weekend. Please send money, please. Thank you. I love you. Bye." And she's in there fucking applying for loans.
I felt really sorry for it. I did feel really sorry for it.
Sometimes
I watch those ones and you're like, how could you be so stupid? But this one I really did empathize, going, that really could happen. Like that could easily happen to you.
And like
actually could. Like,
do you think it would be super exciting? Because I know what it is. It's almost that like Prince Charming vibe. Where you're like, someone matches with this guy and he's on fucking planes and helicopters and all. You're like, oh my god, this guy might
totally.
You know, I just work in the fucking Tesco's. This guy might take me to Dubai for the weekend here.
That's literally the difference of just like meeting someone. Obviously, you're like open. You're wanting to have a relationship, but then you see this guy who's like this stuff that only like less than 10% of the world get to experience, and that guy wants to talk to you. Obviously, you're gonna go, oh yeah, whatever. This is amazing. You're this guy, and I'm never gonna be in a private jet, and you have the kind of job that means your life is luxurious. That's like exciting.
And you know what's weird?
It's not gold digging. It is just, how is that not exciting? That's exciting to everyone.
It wasn't like overly like sex driven. You know what I mean?
No, because he was friends with one of the girls.
He was like friends, and it was
that's
all the money. He wasn't like, listen, I've just fucking 100 chicks on the go at the minute, busting nuts all around the world.
If he wanted women, he could probably get them. If he wanted money, he could probably make it. That's the problem.
But he liked just the sneaky way in which he got to do it.
Yeah, that's beyond.
Don't hit the player, hit the game, man.
It's
and then sure enough,
crazy.
Like all crooks, he's now an online mentor.
Selling programs to
he did all that, and now he's just like fucking, hello, you want to learn how to do business? Do you know how much it was? 311 quid. What's 11 for? Photocopying? Fuck off.
11?
311 pounds. In my country, buy quite a lot of things.
Oh my god.
You're fucking like Jordan Belfort.
I was gonna say Wolf of Wall Street. He did the same thing, nearly.
Sitting in a fucking
fucking hell. But he put a thing, didn't he? Like
in a hotel function room.
I think he put a thing up on Instagram because he's still very much, kicking about doing this. Like
this motherfucker, like
clearly, yeah. And he put up a thing on his Instagram being like, "I'm gonna put up my side of the story," and then just deleted all of his social media. I wonder, did he know? I mean, he must have known this was coming out because I'm pretty sure you have to ask people. Do you not? Can you do this? So he must have agreed to the Netflix show about
to
him.
be in it though. But there's a weird.
He maybe didn't know what it's about. No, hold on.
I'm not too sure, but I think there's like a criminal side of things. There's a criminal side of things where they're just, unless it's like federal, or they're protecting someone's like a witness. Like one of those things. Yeah. I think they can just do it.
Oh right, okay, you can make.
Because I think there was something to do with that Ghislaine Maxwell, where it was like federal, so you weren't allowed to see any of the shit going on in her court case.
Right.
But there are certain things where they're like big cases of like horrible things where people are very much anonymous. But I think there's something like that where they're just like, listen, we can do whatever the fuck we want. We'll ask you if you want to be in it, but we're doing it anyway.
But how strange.
Also, probably a lot of coverage. We probably haven't seen it, but probably a lot of media coverage anyway. In certain places.
Yeah, right enough, I suppose. Once again, it's because we haven't heard about it. So to us, this is like, that's the only information we've ever heard.
And spoiler alert, the girl at the end, she worked in fashion. The last Dutch girl that was...
she was class, wasn't she?
She was great. She looked very, like a handsome woman.
She was quite handsome.
Do you know what I mean? She wasn't like real pretty,
No, she was more handsome.
Juicy chicks like I like. She was very... What? I mean, she was a very like handsome woman, but she looked like a baddie in a movie. She looked like they'd hired her as an actress.
I like her because she's like clever and selling his clothes. And
she was stealing all the clobber and selling it online.
For better, like obviously you'd do that.
By the way, a lot of designer gear, like Gucci shit.
But then all the rest of the stuff was like fake.
Turd.
But then his clothes weren't. But then you can't really. Well, no, obviously you can fake that, but clearly he just did buy the fancy clothes, but he didn't buy the... Or he maybe did have the... Remember, because the watch was fake, but he probably just kept the real one, got a shitty fake one, obviously, to give her. I take that back.
Twice in my sort of watching things career, or even since like the last couple of years learning about watches and reading into them a bit more, twice I've watched things where they've mentioned something about a watch and I've went, that's bullshit. Or, oh, that's a clue. Like there was some, and Gordo was talking about some, it might have actually been the Zodiac Killer. And they said something about a Zodiac watch, and I was like, oh yeah, that's a lot of American soldiers in Vietnam wore Zodiac watches. The Seawolf. So I was like, he probably was a vet, this guy. Like an army vet if he's wearing that watch. And then also when your mom was like, oh, I've got a watch here, it's worth 100k, and I was like, no, it's not, bro.
I know straight away you're like, here's how actually much it is. And
Yeah,
I was like,
it's actually only 40. What a fucking crook.
The real criminal is this documentary.
The real criminal is that you put that on a leather strap. Disgusting. Anyway, it's a good watch.
It is.
The show is a good watch. You just can't believe
the watch isn't a good watch, but the show is a good watch.
Cack, man. But it's just weird that like people are so genius. You're like, use it for something else, man. Use it for good. You fucking weirdo.
Once again, imagine online dating didn't exist. It'd be hard to swindle women then, wouldn't it? You can't fake all the photos and all that shit.
But like, do women do it to men on a daily basis?
Oh, what's it? What are you trying to say now?
Catfishing?
Catfishing? What? No. Well, technically, everyone catfishes everyone.
Yeah, you're giving everyone your fucking...
I'm catfishing myself right now because I put makeup on to do this.
You smell like cats and fish.
You smell like cats. Everything's... Yeah. I don't know.
I could do with a catfishing, to be honest.
I know. What would your, like, if you were trying to do a fake profile to get these juicy chicks that you speak of, what would your catfish be? Like, who would be your, like, oh, this is the guy I'm going to pretend to be? What would he look like?
I can't even pretend to be sound.
I know. Like, I don't even think you could pretend to put up, like, a really, like, sexy dude photo and then try and flirt, because I just don't think you know how to live up to that.
No, I was trying to do this, like, a sexy pose, and I knocked my hat off, which was not sexy.
To reveal the Terry Nutkins?
Terry Nutkins! Sebald.
Nice hat, though.
What would my sexy photo be? I don't know. Yeah. I have no idea if I'm in any way attractive to anyone other than I'm married. Isn't that weird?
No, because I know your personality, so that makes perfect sense. But you've never put up a photo, and I have seen some absolute horrifics putting up photos of themselves.
Horrifics?
And you've never done that.
Horrifics.
You've never done like a selfie and being like, I feel like I look quite good here, I'm gonna put this up. And I've seen everyone do it.
Name one.
Who?
Mickey?
I'm not saying any names, but everyone does it.
If I get a name,
everyone puts up a photo being like, secret, I look great. And you don't do that, and you don't even know how to do it.
Mickey used to tuck his cock between his legs and take a photo and be like, listen, I want you to know.
Oh, Mickey definitely does it, but he will also admit, I feel like I look great in this photo, I'm so cute in this photo, and he'll put up a photo going like, I look great. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with them, but I'm saying you don't do it ever.
Should I be taking photos that I think I look sexy in them?
Yeah.
To be right, okay. But am I sexy at all and not?
Yes, oh yes, for sure. Colin, this is the thing, and I try to explain this to you.
Because I'm expecting an inbox full of, tits and all, ass pics.
Right, well, start putting up sexier photos then.
Start putting up sexier photos.
Yeah, and all those guys will send you those photos.
Oh, I've had cock. Don't worry about that. I've had cock.
Take that. Someone record that and then just put it out.
Oh, I've had cock.
Of course I have. Who hasn't? That's what you're saying.
I've got an inbox full of cock.
But this is what I'm saying, Colin. Because you don't do that, because you don't actively try and like pose or like do a thing where you're like, I feel like I look really good.
What are you talking about?
You don't think about that, Colin. Exactly. I don't even think you look like that photo. Where sometimes you'll be at the house and I'll like take a really nice photo of you and you'll be looking really nice and you're wearing like a really tight t-shirt and you've got giant arms and a really broad back and like, you know what I mean?
Even I'm getting hard.
Exactly. And then, especially if you've got a bit of tan and all, and you look great, and I'll take this photo, and you're like, what? And you just can't believe that I've taken a nice photo of you, because I'm like, you don't. So you'll just chuck on a big hoodie and not really care.
I'm a fucking real man. There's one arm.
I don't think you realise what you really look like. You definitely have body dysmorphia.
What about that? Huh?
Exactly. Sometimes you don't realise until you look back. And people do this all the time, obviously, but you'll look back on a photo or a video from like ages ago being like, oh, I looked okay
Is that a sexy
there.
one?
Yeah, that's a great photo.
Sexy guy?
Yeah, but look where your t-shirt is. You're not what I used to call your clothes moo-moos. You used to put on big moo-moos. And that's when I say just when you're wearing, you wear clothes too big for you.
So we're going to make this a new feature. My homework for next week is try and get sexier. Take a photo.
Everyone's homework for this week, because I've decided on giving everyone homework on the Patreon podcast, is go and take a sexy photo of yourself that you go, I look class. And you're not catfishing anyone. It's how you actually look.
Photographers?
Sexy photographer. Specialised in nudes. So you have to do a sexy photo shoot. There's your sexy calendar. Dead on Mafia sexy Colin calendar. Colin the calendar.
Sponsored by Manscaped.
Manscaped, there you go.
I'll shave only my pubic triangle and everything else will be matted with fur.
It has got the least amount of hair in your body as your pubes, so that's not going to be hard.
My pubes have no hair on them, so that's a final note to leave on, guys. 1 minute 12. We're getting out of here to pick up our child.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening, guys. Well, this one has video.
Hopefully.
So bang my ring.
There's a red light on, so let's hope that means go.
Yep. I hope so. Cheers, Maureen. We're actually recording another podcast for next week on Thursday, probably me and you. Yeah. So that's it.
Yes, we actually have a day away together, don't we? Exciting.
Quick favour for you guys. I forgot to mention when it happened, but Spotify now do ratings.
Do they?
Yep. So if you could listen on Spotify,
right.
if you do that, give us a rating. I would love that more than anything. I think we want more listeners. We want more ratings because that's what all people care about.
And then you'll probably feel great about yourself and wear sexier t-shirts.
Yeah, wear sexy
everyone's
t-shirts.
Gonna have a better time.
I want to see us get some chart action because, you know, we're getting, you know, the numbers that really count go to the advertisers. They like that. They're happy with the numbers. But we want to get those charts going, don't we, guys?
Yeah, I think we'd like a wee chart. You probably, again, the annoying thing is, probably way back a few years ago, you'd be at the top of a lot of charts, but we didn't even really look at them.
Never looked at them.
It's always like
I never take sexy photos. I never look at charts.
You never do any of those things.
There's video this week.
I didn't even talk about my survey.
I talked about it already.
I don't know. What did you say about it? Because probably all wrong.
I just said that the majority of it was people were very happy.
Yeah, I literally paid money for people to go, don't change anything, it's great.
I said that I was happy at the
most
fact
people.
that you had to pay money for it. That
I know, I actually felt like such a dick.
No, I just said it was good that most people were like happy with what they're getting.
And the suggestions were all things that we were already putting in place. But again, I actually did it genuinely. It wasn't just to like for this. I was just trying to do general. There's so many podcasts about this, such a big thing now. I was like, I would love to know a bit more information. Obviously, you can look up statistics, but a lot of it's like, this is UK, this is Ireland. There's nothing very specific to Northern Ireland, which I think has its own little podcast ecosystem. And I was like, I would like to know what their listening habits are. And then that's why I put in one at the very end being like, anything you can change. And majority of people said, don't change anything. And then the other very small percent said, you know, blah, 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 all the things we already know that we're going to do, like the more regular. And that was it. But again, that was a good thing. Again, it was worthwhile to confirm that what you're already doing is good too. Sometimes that's as valuable as someone telling you to do it.
The main thing was scheduling, and from now on the podcast,
which we already knew was the thing. Yeah.
Tuesday morning for the regular one, Thursday morning for Patreon.
And genuinely, I'll sort of interject by going, genuinely, I can't really. We talk a lot about things, but our life and all the things I do. It's hard to describe how much of an impact that has on your life, especially when you have a lot of work to do all week, and it's not just like I'm going to work for a few hours and I come back. You're working all day, all the time, forever.
Yeah.
So
and you're also
it's now that like I'm good, my bloods are good, I'm able to do a bit of work now. I do a lot of work on the library stuff, and we've got a bit more routine.
That's the thing.
Life. We've got normal life back ourselves.
We also have to run the bloody gigs with all these other
comedians.
We have a
lot of other things
you're listening
that
to.
Like this.
Fucking work at, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
So, anyway, excuses. No one wants excuses. They want.
But I'm glad that our life is back to a point where we can have a routine and things to look forward to and things to schedule, because it was taken away from us for quite a while there, and we definitely would have preferred it not to.
Yes.
So now we're very excited to get back into regular life. Regular everything.
And swinging.
What? Okay. We'll talk about it.
COVID's over. Dogging's back. Catfishing. Right. We're out of here.
Before you... Please stop talking.
See you later.
That's enough.